Oh, interesting. 2 ZvTs for the semis. F's in the chat for our Protoss fans in the chat. Feels bad, man. No Protoss players left in the tournaments. But I blame Paco Mike for that. Because Paco Mike, he gave the walkover. He didn't play. Shaking my head, Paco Mike. Shaking my head. But speaking of shaking my head, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have the Brazilian Terran player himself representing Amantes de StarCraft. It is YanXII. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have the Mexican Zerg player representing Team GP. It is Cham. Oh boy. Here we go. So again, Cham, he's a big name in the Latin American scene, but we haven't seen him play in Copa Hyperion in quite some time. Cham, I think, has been focusing a little bit less on pro gaming, which is pretty interesting because I know that he's one of the few players that is actually full-time. He wasn't studying, he wasn't working a full-time job, he was focusing on nothing but StarCraft, and he got really good with it. There's a reason why Cham is on a Korean team, but it feels like these past couple of months, like 6 months, maybe even more, Cham took a bit of a step back. He did spend some time in Korea. That was a couple of years ago now, actually. And yeah, we haven't seen as much from Cham recently. Even though he's such a great player, it's cool to see him again in Copa Hyperion. I want to see more of Cham. I want to see him do well. And that's why I'm really happy to see him here. And even though he hasn't been as active as he used to be, he's still an amazing player. He's still a beast in his own right. Oh boy. And we'll see if he can be stopped. Because Yan is a great player, but oh god, Cham is terrifying, mate. He's crazy. Oh boy, here we go. So far, pretty standard openers. Hatch gas pool coming out here from Cham. Yan is going for a bit of a scout behind this, also going for a 1-1-1 of his own. Let's see it. Also, did I say hatch gas pool? Okay, I did. I think I did. Cham getting his third base on location as well at the correct time. His queens are coming out. Again, everything is just looking pretty standard. My eyes are for the most part on Yan. How is he going to switch things up? What does he have prepared for Cham? Because Cham, again, is the clear favorite. He is top 3 player in all of Latin America. You know, it's special, then Kelazur, then Cham, and it's been like that for a long time. Oh boy. Can that hierarchy be shaken up? The other interesting thing about Cham is that he isn't a standard player. For those of you who remember him, we used to cast Cham on a weekly basis back when Battle of the Americas was a thing. This was in 2019, or sorry, 2020, I should say, 2020. And yeah, Cham, in this matchup, he would favor Roach play, like Roach Infestor play. He'd favor Swarm Hosts as well. I don't remember the last time I saw Cham go Lingbane Muta. I think Lingbane Muta was probably more of what he would go, like, that's maybe he would do that more often. I don't think I've ever seen Cham go Lingbane Hydra Lurker. I don't think I've ever seen Cham make Lurkers, period, in this matchup. Like, he just has his own style of play, his own meta, if you will. And it works. Like, I mean, hey, he's a great player. You don't have to just go Lurkers every ZvT. He usually finds another way. Usually. We'll see. We'll see how things have changed. Because again, it's been a while since we've casted Cham. Oh boy. Meanwhile, so far, we do have... Oh, I was saying a 1-1-1, but actually... an interesting turn of events here. A bit of a 2-on-1 coming out from Yan. I say a bit of... like, he delayed his starport, but because he went, like, for a factory after the first racks, he still got Hellions out. So because of this, he's gonna be kind of tricking Cham a little bit here. I don't think Cham is gonna be expecting the follow-up Marine drop, essentially, with the medevac coming out, with the starport finishing up. Essentially, Yan is only investing in these first 4 Hellions, and it's only going to be 4 Hellions. Interesting. Meanwhile, Cham, across the map, is going to be delaying his Evo chambers, and he's going to be focusing on his tech instead. He goes for a faster lair, going for his Baneling Nest. Again, just being a little bit greedier here. Meanwhile, with 4 Hellions, because there's only 4 of them, we don't want to dive in. We don't want to go into a mineral line. We don't want to throw them away. We have to be very careful with our movement. Oh, we already lose 1 Hellion. The problem is that if we lose too many Hellions, and we don't have that many to begin with because we only had 4, then Cham will have full map control, which he kind of already does have, and he'll be free to counterattack, and free to scout, and free to do whatever he wants. Free to even take a base. As the 4th is already thrown down again, Cham just asserting his dominance here. We have Baneling speed on the way, and I wanted to see if Cham was gonna go for maybe a fast Spire or a fast Infestation Pit, but no. After the lair finishes, he just goes straight into double Evo chambers. Going to be going for those 1/1 upgrades. Meanwhile, Yan is going to be coming out here with his drop. Stim is already done, by the way, so these Marines have a lot of firepower, but they do get spotted by an Overlord, so forced to unload, forced to supply block Cham a little bit. Not bad. Other than supply block, these Marines shouldn't be able to do too much. Maybe clear up some creep. There we go. We have our scan. 1, 2, 3. 2 Marines get taken out. Oh, and another Overlord. Again, this is all just really nice damage. Oh, as I say that, he will lose 1 medevac for his troubles. Suddenly, this wasn't really worth it here for Yan. Getting 2 Overlords for a medevac? And the creep isn't really receiving too much either. I do worry a little bit here for Yan. The 1/1 upgrades are on the way. Cham just going to be working with nothing but Ling Bane. That's all that he does need. What? What just happened? We didn't have a no, we didn't have a scan. So Yan stimmed forward to clear creep, but he didn't have enough entry for a scan, so we just the stim didn't do anything. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. There we go. There is our scan. He's gonna be able to clear up some of these creep tumors. Unfortunately, Yan thought that he cleared up all the creep here towards the south, but that was immediately respread, so he isn't clearing up as much creep as he thought. Meanwhile, as all this has been happening, Cham, he's just been working on 1/1. They're about to finish up. Baneling speed is done as well. Cham was able to drone up and saturate his 4th base. Now he's getting his 5th. What's scary is that Cham has droned up to 76, soon to be 80 drones, and then he's going to be done droning. And I'm excited because I was talking about how I haven't seen Cham go lurkers before, but he has a Hydra Den. Cham is playing this much more standard. Ling Bane Hydra. Let's go. I'm not used to this. Meanwhile, decent push here from Yan. He's going to be able to clear up a lot of these creep tumors. He has 3 Widow Mice to support him. I say 3. Now he only has 1. Uh-oh. And how good is that 1 going to be? The Banelings are going to find their connection. Some friendly fire there by those Widow Mines. It looks like Cham has more than enough to clean up. He even has detection, even cleans up those Widow Mines. At the same time, we had a bit of a drop here towards the south. Cham already has his army split up here, just making sure that this drop doesn't get out of hand. Cham already working on his infestation pit. With this, he can go straight into a hive. He can go into ultras if he wanted to. With hive tech, he can go into lurkers as well. I want to see him make the lunkers. I want to see it, Papi. I want to see it. As again, that creep is pretty impressive, not gonna lie. Ooh, Widow Mines do get forward and some connections go up. Every single Baneling does get taken down, but at the cost of every single Widow Mine. So, bit of a tit for tat there. Both players, they do end up trading. Oh my god, but there are no splits. All the Marines get taken out towards the south because Yan was a little bit too focused here on the drop in the middle of the map. In the end, he ends up losing both fights. And now, Cham, it's getting close to maxed out. Like Yan has been doing his best to try and keep up and try and keep Cham busy, but let's be honest, the creep hasn't really been stopped. Neither has the economy of Cham. I don't think he's lost a single drone. I'm scared to look. Okay, he's lost 4 drones in total, so some workers have fallen, but not that many, to be honest. Not enough to really write home about. Meanwhile, I think the other impressive thing, I don't know if anyone has noticed, look at the vision of Cham. As he deals with the drop here towards the south and the drop towards the north, 5 more drones go down. Widowmine drop, you know, it does do something. Well, if we look at the vision, he hasn't scattered at all. He never scattered, even in the beginning of the game with an Overlord. He hasn't been checking the bases. He hasn't been too concerned with what Yan has been doing. Again, Cham, his whole game plan this entire time has been to defend until he's maxed. And that's exactly where we are now. He is maxed out. 200 supply with just pure Ling Bane. He's going into mutas from here. I was mentioning it earlier. I've never seen Cham go lurkers, and he's not going to be going lurkers this game either. Oh no! Feels bad, man. I mean, shout out to Cham for helping out Yan. He notices, mate, you don't have combat shields. Yan starts it, but it's a little bit too late here because the Ling Bane gets in. He gets on top of the tanks. He crashes in with the 4th base. Yan loses it immediately. Oh, not like this. But less than 3. Cham, he's a nice guy. He actually is. So it's really cool to see him help out his opponent. Less than 3, puppy. Less than 3. We'll see Yan scan, checking to see if there's another base being taken. For those who don't know as well, Yan, I believe he's the youngest competitor from Latin America. I think he's 17. Very young, very young. In my eyes, he's like the future of the Latin American scene. Like, he's been doing really well for himself. I remember when Yan was actually too young to even play in DreamHack. That's why we didn't see him there, but here we go. Cham is pushing in once again. Loses a lot of Lings here, trying to take out the 3rd base, or now 4th technically. Cham having a hard time breaking those bases. At the same time, we have a drop here towards the south. Yeah, not really finding too many workers. It does distract Cham at least a little bit, but Cham, he threw down double Spire. Like, he's looking to go into Broodlords. Like, Corruptors are already on the way. We have our upgrades as well. Broodlords are kind of the end goal, the late game composition that you want in this matchup. Ooh. And the biggest problem is that Yan is stuck with a mediocre army. He has a lot of tanks and a lot of bio, and this can be really good against lurkers. This can be really good against a ground army, but where are the ghosts? That's what we really need. We don't have a ghost academy. It's just not there. And without ghosts, ghosts are the answer to lurkers, ghosts are the answer to infestors, vipers, more importantly, broodlords. Tanks don't shoot up. Marines have very little range. He's not ready for broodlords. For the time being, you know, Master, he's living in ignorance. He's living a blissful life. You know, he's trading wherever he can. He's slowly taking another base. Already a planetary here, his 5th on location. But the broodlords are coming, and when they do arrive, we're gonna see Yanji panic a little bit, and probably going to throw down a Ghost Academy and maybe start Vikings. But again, like right now, he can't deal with it. Boy. But we'll see when Cham decides to reveal his broodlords, because right now they're just chilling here back at home. To say that he's on the way. Meanwhile, we see the Hydras try and bust on in. Cham needs to get rid of supply, and this is the thing. Yanji may be feeling pretty good about that fight. He just killed a lot of Ling Bane, but that was just to clear up supply for more broodlords. And here we go, the broodlords reveal themselves, the tanks are exposed, we see the Unsiege, the tanks have to get the hell out of here. Marines are going to try and dive on top of the Broodlords. That's the only way they can really deal with this. But there's just too many. They're not going to get anywhere close. Tanks falling left and right. There we go. Vikings are on the way. We have a transition into Thors. It's going to take a while for the Thors to come out, and how much is he going to lose before that happens? The base is now under threat as well. He just immediately has to evacuate. At the same time, the Hydra army is rotating towards the bottom right-hand corner instead. YanXII sees this, and he's going to be trying to keep up with the rotation. Going to be able to keep this southern base alive. But he does lose that planetary. More Hydras getting picked off. Meanwhile, the Broodlords, they just keep on coming. They don't stop, puppy. And we have Queens as well for some reason. We don't even have creep. Oh god, Corruptors, caustic spraying down the planetary as well. Fourth base falls. And Yan, I'm sure he's feeling pretty all in here with this army. He's desperate to deal some damage. He's pushing out across the map, but he's gonna run into base. Okay, splits. The reaction is pretty good. Lords, they just keep on pushing in. The Thor count is getting higher though. It's slowly backing up in the main. Again, YanXII is all in with this army. He's got to go, mate. He's got to go. The Broodlords have revealed, sorry, the Thors have revealed themselves. Are there enough Thors? Maybe there are. Oh god, but they're having a hard time engaging. They're getting stuck behind each other as well. And that ground army from Yan has to come back home. It's just not going to be enough. But you know, shout out to Yan because he put up a good fight. Like, I really did enjoy his mid game and how active he was being. The reality is though that he never really dealt the economic damage that he needed to do. He never really got a mineral line. He never killed the base. He just couldn't stop Cham, and now Cham has a massive bank. He has an insane army. He kept the majority of his Broodlords alive. He's making even more Broodlords. And Cham, he just needs to come in with the rest of his army. That's exactly what he's going to be doing. He goes in for a full surround. There's not enough to support the Thors. GG gets called, and Cham takes the first game. GG. Well played. GG, well played. Cham takes the first game, but again, that was only the first game. We still have more time. We still have more time. I can see the chat. Tater in the chat. Paco made me cry. Even my dog seems depressed. No, Paco, my funara, Paco, Mike. Ay, ay, ay. God damn it, Milk. Shaking my head, shaking my head. And speaking of shaking my head, I want to give a massive shout out to someone who is joining me here in the stream. May have missed out on the first game, but he is here for the rest of the tournament. I want to give a massive shout out here to the one, the only, the padrino of StarCraft himself. Welcome, Ducklings.
Hello everyone, how are you?
Hello, Ducklings, hello. Oh,
hello Light, hello chat.
I was worried I wasn't gonna see you today, but thankfully Ducklings he's here. Thank you. Welcome.
Yes, I am here and I am ready to cast game number 2 because mate, I'm seeing game number 1 and it was crazy.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's I was talking about this earlier, but it's really cool to see Cham again. Like he isn't as active as he used to be, you know, but he's here this week.
Yes, he is. So how's everybody doing?
Oh,
quite a good tournament so far, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of big names. It's cool to see Tavo returning. It's cool to see Alexander, aka Tiratuga, coming back as well. And I'm a little bit shocked to see our Brazilian Terran here in the semifinals. As you were joining me, I was in the middle of Funadaing Paco Mike.
Look, well deserved, well deserved.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'll join you. Funara Paco Mike, everyone in the chat, please.
Do you know what happened? Did you hear? Like, I'm not sure. Like,
No, no, I heard nothing. Did you hear anything?
no, nah. It's just he probably just, I don't know, probably fell asleep or something.
Speaking of falling asleep, here's a player who did not fall asleep and is here playing this tournament. This is the Mexican set player for Team GP, Cham.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Moondance, we have our Brazilian Terran player, our young blood representing Amantes de StarCraft. It is YanXII.
So I was watching game number 1 while I was waiting for me to enter the stream, and man, YanXII can really hold. Right. Like lesser players would have died like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. You know, he refused to die. You know, he was hanging in there for as long as possible. He was hanging in there for 15 minutes before he got combat shields.
Look, it was part of the plan. Okay,
Yeah.
This is just how things works in Brazil.
True. For not a Brazilian healthcare, but oh my god. But yeah, it was really cool to see him, you know, fighting his heart out there against Cham. In the end, of course, Cham is still the favorite, but, you know, that didn't stop YanXII. And I think what I'm impressed by is that, like, a lot of people, if they go up against, like, Special or Kelazar or Cham, they, like, whip out, like, some kind of weird cheese, you know, because they know that they're the underdog. But no, YanXII, he played macro.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you wanna test yourself against the best, just macro it up, man. I mean, that is what I tried to do in my games today against Master in the 5th round. And look, I just tried my best. Like, how far behind am I really behind these top tier players?
Yeah, it's a
the answer is very behind. But look,
oh my god, feels bad, man. Feels bad.
I mean, it feels bad, but actually, I'm very proud of myself, mate. I hit one really good Widowman shot and I killed like 12 workers.
Yeah. It's always like I remember like signing up for a Lima League, and it's always really like satisfying to like play against like a pro player and like do something like that. You know, kill a bunch of workers, kill the first Reaper as well, something like that as well. If you can. Speaking of first Reaper, YanXII, he comes back in and he gets a drone.
Yes, gets a drone. The Reaper is gonna survive. So yeah, speaking of personal victories, mate. There we go. That's a big personal victory for any Terran out there. You know, having your initial Reaper kill anything, kill any worker, and then survive.
Oh yeah, and that's the important part. It is still alive here, still scouting, still checking, confirming that a third base has been taken and making sure that Cham doesn't go for any kind of weird early game shenanigans. So far, a really good start here for Yan. Oh.
Yeah, and Reaper is still alive. He's still trying to do shenanigans, seeing what Cham is doing. He hiding in the secret building. Oh my god, the Reaper's still there.
Yeah, exactly. I think maybe he thought there was a bit of a Reaper cliff here or something, but he got boxed in. So really good movement there by Cham.
Yeah. Unlucky Reaper. The luck only runs so far.
And there's something weird happening. I don't know if you noticed, but Yan is making a second Reaper.
I'm gonna go and say it, mate. This is a mistake.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. He's pumping out more and more Hellions, which makes sense. Last game he opened up with a bit of a weird 2-1-1 variant. It wasn't a standard 2-1-1. This game he's committing a lot more to Hellions, and he wants to go for a little bit of multi-prong harass here with a Liberator as well.
Yeah, I wonder what the Reaper Spore is for. Like, is he maybe trying to disrupt some of these queens or something? Like, I could believe you if it was against Protoss, you know, if you lost your initial Reaper and maybe you want to try to break the door at the front. But against Zerg, I don't know, mate. We'll have to ask him after this game.
I want to say that this is intentional. So typically with the builds that Yan is going for, he wants to dive into a mineral line. Like, he wants to distract with the Liberator or distract with the Hellions. And to make a distraction, he has to be risky with his Hellions. And maybe he got the Reaper just to make sure he doesn't get surrounded by Lings.
Not a bad idea, not a bad idea. Speaking of not bad idea, mate, the Liberator has arrived at the tier base. 4 worker skills, and it's gonna go away on impede.
Yeah, exactly. The Liberator stays alive, so there's still potential for even more damage. The Hellions were trying to dip on in, but again, the Queen count is high enough where they just haven't really been able to do too much. And Cham is switching things up. He is going for a Roach Warren.
Ooh, Roach Warren for Cham. He's like, I had enough of your shenanigans. I'm gonna stop them right now, and with a Roach Warren. I love this server in the chat. Reaper Giga Chat.
The Giga Chat Reaper, let's go. Meanwhile, Liberator comes back in, but the Queens were left in position, so Liberator doesn't get any damage this time. Still alive though, still alive. What's scary though is that Yan has to scout this. He needs to scout that it is not going to be Ling Bane this game.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, Cham has been doing a really good job at keeping these Hellions at bay. They have not managed to enter the natural base so far. Is he gonna get to cancel this base? Okay, he got a cancel. Unfortunately, the drone was not killed, so it is immediately rebuilt. But still, Cham lost 75 minerals.
Yeah, not a bad cancel whatsoever. You know, great positioning there from Yan in the end. The creep here, it's non-existent as well, so like he can still be active.
Yeah. Nice work by YanXII so far to keep Cham at bay. Meanwhile, back at home, we see that YanXII is going full bio. 1-1 is on the way already. Do we have Steam? We do. We have Steam already. And Combat Shields has just begun.
Oh, so, yeah.
Not 50-minute Combat Shield this time.
He's not forgetting it this time. And once again, he's going to be looking to go for a bit of a drop on the right-hand side. His Hellions are here on the left. The Queens are getting a little bit distracted by these Hellions, and the Liberator is sneaking into the main base. So a tri-pronged attack being set up here by Yan. The upgrades still not done here from Cham, and the Roaches are coming out now. They still haven't revealed themselves.
Yeah, finally the Roaches are gonna engage the army, and unfortunately poor Liberator gonna die to the Spore, and there we go. He sees the Roaches, he's like, okay, I know what I'm fighting against, and I need to prepare accordingly.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the drop goes into the main base. At the same time, the Hellions get a kill of it on a Queen towards the south, so nicely done, fighting still some damage with those Hellions. The drop isn't going to be able to do too much here, but 5 drone kills, not bad at all.
Yeah, not bad. 69 workers for Cham, 63 workers for YanXII. He's keeping toe-to-toe with the third player. Meanwhile, just spinning some of the creep here for Cham, you know, not letting it getting out of control. I saw last game that Cham's creep in the previous game was insane. It was like basically at the door of the Terran player.
Yeah, it was crazy. So it's really cool to see Yan recognize that and adapt, and now he's been giving Cham a harder time when it comes to his creep spread. But what's scary though is the style of Cham. He went for these Roaches, and right now all he's doing is defending, he's turtling, and I thought maybe he was going to go for a Roach timing, but no, behind this he got a Hydrogen, and he is going straight into Lurkers.
Yeah, Roach, Hydra, Lurker is gonna be the choice of the day for Cham. Who is it? There is one Korean player who's famous for doing this, right?
Dark.
Yes, it was Dark. So we're going to see Dark style today. Let's see how good the YanXII is against it, because his current army is full of Marines, mate. And last time I checked, Marines are not very good against Lurkers.
Yeah, a lot of Marines here, not so many tanks. The Roaches are actually going to get a nice surround, a nice concave here on said Marines, so going to force them back. At the same time, we have a bit of a Hellbat drop, question mark, headed in towards the third base.
Yeah, there we go, double Hellbat drop. Oh no, this is going to go down. Yeah, a little bit overzealous with that Medivac. I think that Spore would have been a more... something more to take care of, but there we go. It is what it is.
Yeah, you know what? That drop at least did show Yan that there are Hydras, so now he knows that it's not just going to be like a Roach Ravager all-in or anything like that. He knows that Cham is teching, and he should recognize, especially with the scan, he has seen the Lurkers.
Yes, and there we go, and the army of Cham is coming from all sides, and mate, this Marines are about to disappear.
Oh my god, and they do disappear, not before focusing down 2 lurkers, so they do trade a little bit. At the same time, we have another army here. Yo, the queens are getting caught out.
Yeah, queens are getting caught out. The army is out of position, and this base is completely dead. I don't think Cham is gonna be able to respond in time, and there we go. Just focuses and then leaves.
Yeah, beautifully done here by Yan. He does pull apart Cham. Despite losing a drop in the middle of the map, he will get a base for his troubles. Meanwhile, I was looking at the upgrades here. Cham, his Hydras can't keep up. They are slow Hydras because he rushed his way into Lurker Tech. He doesn't have any Hydra upgrades.
Yeah, upgrades are going on for both players. 2-2 is already finished for YanXII. Where is 3-3? I don't see it on the... There we go. 3-3 is now just beginning for the Terran player. Meanwhile, 2-2 just finished up for Cham as well, so the players are very equal in the upgrades. It is going to be all in composition.
Oh yeah, it's going to be about the composition. It's going to be about the positioning as well. Almost every single Hydra has been morphed into a Lurker, by the way. So again, Cham doesn't really care too much about anti-air. He wants to go for nothing but Lurkers. Hive is done. Oh my god, but 2 Lurkers again getting caught out. 3.
Ooh, third one? Okay, only 2, but yeah, those was 2 free lurkers. Look, I don't know about you, man, but I like my lurkers free, okay?
Oh my god, exactly. But there are just so many of them. Despite that, we have lurkers here towards the left. We have lurkers towards the right. They're covering every single base right now. Thankfully, Yan this time is taking up even further. Ghosts are coming out, and that will help in a straight-up fight against the lurkers.
By the way, I'm surprised that YanXII has not taken the back tier base.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of minerals there, so he's saving it for later on. Meanwhile, ooh, almost catches a Viper, but bearing in mind, we do have 4 Vipers already, and that is going to be the anti-air. He gets the Parasitic Bomb.
Oh, 2 Medivacs immediately way down with the Parasitic Bomb. Yeah, I mean, even though YanXII is making a really good effort with his army and his harassment here, man, Cham macro has been on point.
Oh my god, it really has, and every single medevac went down, and they were full medevacs as well. A lot of Marines did go down in all of that, but the ghosts have come out, and the defensive position is pretty good. Look at all these tanks, and look at all these ghosts. Cham cannot... He's gonna have a hard time breaking this.
Yeah, definitely. Now with ghosts in the mix, YanXII has a chance when encountering those lurkers now. It's not gonna be just a can I get them out of position? No, you can actually snipe them now.
Yeah, exactly. I do worry though because expanding from here is going to be difficult. We do see Yan is trying to expand towards the top right. Of course, there is no high ground to protect this base, so if he gets this up and running, this is going to be pretty crucial here for YanXII. It's going to be so important for him to hold on to this base. Meanwhile, Cham still has that map control working on 3-3. He's also transitioning. Spire on the way for Broodlords and double Nidus.
Ooh, double Nidus. This could be a disaster if those Nidus manage to enter the main base and a few lurkers just snipe all your production. Meanwhile, there is nothing here to defend to the third base of YanXII. There you go. How much damage can he do? There's a few tanks in the back, but I think it is more than enough to maybe kill a few SCVs. Meanwhile, that fifth base is not gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. There's just too much here. The Hydras are all getting evaporated, but the Lurkers still stand strong. Meanwhile, Cham wants to get rid of these Roaches. Roaches at the 13-minute mark are kind of useless. He doesn't want to lose them for free. He gets 9 SCVs, which I don't know if that was really worth it, but Cham has a massive bank. Like, he replaces it immediately with Mass Corruptor.
18 Corruptors on the way, mate. Greater Spire is also on the way. But YanXII is ready. YanXII has started back in production. So he knows the timings, he knows why Cham is throwing his roaches away, and he's preparing accordingly.
Oh, exactly. Meanwhile, we see another scan. Oh, doesn't get another lurker, and even more lurkers rock up here to protect the left-hand base. Yan still looking to try and find a 5th base. He's going to go for the one on the high ground. This is going to be a little bit easier, kind of. He does have the high ground, he has ramps to work with, but it's also much closer to his opponent, and this can be abused by Broodlords, especially over these cliffs, over the ledges.
Yeah, we're gonna see them pretty soon. The Corruptors are already here. Double Nidus network coming into the main base of the Terran player. YanXII does not notice. I think he's pretty busy attacking left and right. How many lurkers are they gonna pop out of them, and how many barracks will he lose?
I think all of them. The lurkers, they come on in. The Raxes are under threat. We do see YanXII immediately responding to them. He has a couple of tanks in position. The ghosts are coming in as well. He has to be very careful here. He cannot lose too many ghosts to these lurkers. Ooh.
Nice snipes on the lurkers. The lurkers are dying, but the production of YanXII got cut in half basically. He loses a lot of add-ons, a lot of barracks, even the tech lag on the factory. So I will say it was a good attack by Cham.
Yeah, like it was a costly attack, but it was worth it because look at all these Broodlords. We lose
12 Broodlords on the way.
Yeah, 12 Broodlords on top of the 5 that just finished up. 6 even. And what's scary is that Cham, sure, he lost all those lurkers, but for a reason, he wanted to get rid of them. He wanted to throw them away. And Yan hasn't seen the Broodlords yet. He doesn't know.
Yeah, now with Nidos on one side, Broodlords on the other, YanXII's gonna have a hard time to defend. And there we go. He sees them. He scans them. He's like, oh, that's a lot of Broodlords. But mate, there's actually more behind this. No. Importantly, there is 0 anti-air for Cham.
Yes.
So a few Vikings, and there's basically nothing to defend them.
True. Unfortunately, YanXII is maxed. He needs to get rid of an army. He needs to get rid of some of the supply and replace some of these tanks with Vikings, because tanks don't shoot up. Tanks are actually the worst thing you can have right now against Broodlords. That's a lot of tanks.
Nidos got spotted. Meanwhile, Cham moving across the map. Is he gonna start the attack? I think he will.
Oh my god, Cham hacking the system. He's at 220 supply. Oh my god.
That is broken. That is broken.
Oh my, here we go. The Broodlords are coming on in, and you were talking about the Vikings. They're great and all, but there are only 4 Vikings, and we have parasitic bombs to help out here. I'm waiting to see them at some point. Oh, actually, Corruptors come out, and the Vikings, they've already fallen.
Yeah, there's no more anti-air, but at least not Vikings for YanXII. There's only Marines left. The base immediately falls. The other 2 CCs that were being built are never gonna be finished.
Yeah, that's the danger of taking that base. It is so far forward. It is so vulnerable to these frontal assaults, and Cham, he just takes down that base. He's still at 220 supply. He hasn't lost anything.
Mate, that's so many Broodlords, so many Broodlings, mate. I feel that I'm seeing like a swarm of Zerglings.
Yeah, it's just far too much here. And again, we were talking about it. The army composition here is just not ideal. These tanks are useless right now. We see Thors in production, and that's cool, but they may just be a little bit too late. How much is Yan going to lose before the Thors come out?
2 bases, he uses 2 bases, another one that was being built on the north side, and yeah, YanXII, he's like, what do I do? I think I need to counterattack, get rid of these tanks, as you say, but there is some defense here.
Yeah, unfortunately, tanks are just slow, so they're going to be able to maybe take this base out, but the Broodlords are coming. The Broodlords are turning around. The Ghosts are going to try and catch the Broodlords as they rotate around, but there is detection. There are Overseers here with the army.
There we go. Nice fierce Yang on the first Thor. The first 2 Thors immediately fall. There's only a couple of Vikings left here, mate. These Broodlords are basically almost unopposed. YanXII go for a steam forward. See if he tries to catch the Broodlords of guard, but I'm not sure if this is gonna be enough, mate. I think Cham can just kite his army forever.
Yeah, pretty much, mate. He just kites all the way back. I mean, the army is looking better here for Yan than it once was, but there's still a lot of tanks involved. There's still, it's still a little bit awkward here to maneuver around. He's gonna try and force his way through, but the blinding clouds!
Nice blinding clouds on almost all of the tanks. The Broodlords has free range, but the Thors are focusing on the Broodlords, mate. A lot of the Broodlords are falling.
Oh, a lot of the Broodlords are falling, but you know what? That's when the Lurkers come back into play. We have 32 Lings in production. Cham is switching into Ground Zerg instead, and it looks like it barely is going to be enough. He loses all his Broodlords.
Oh, he loses the Broodlords. He loses all the Lurkers that he had over here. What is here for Cham to defend? Basically, Zerglings, man. There's only Zerglings and 5 Corruptors.
All these Zerglings, Corruptors, there we go. Hydras are on the way. It looks like Cham recognizes he needs to switch back into Lurker play. Lings are going for a massive run by, and there's not a lot to defend. Yan lost a lot to do that. He did get a base, but he didn't get a lot of workers.
Yeah, he did get a base, but he traded a lot of army, and there's one big problem for a Terran player is that he has no bankmate. Look at the minerals that both players have. 5,000 for Cham. YanXII cannot even hit 100.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he just hasn't been able to establish a base. He's trying to expand here towards the bottom left. He finally did take the base here, his pocket base. That's how desperate he is. He's like, okay, I gotta dip into my funds. I gotta dip into my savings. Is it gonna be enough though?
I don't know, mate. There's a lot of Thors. Thors are really good, really tanky units, mate, but they're really fragile.
Yeah, exactly. And the problem is that, like, YanXII has to be careful not to get baited into too many Thors, because again, we're switching into lurkers, right? And Thors were meant against Broodlords. Meanwhile, more Nidus play coming into the main base, and they're gonna finish.
Nidus finishes lurkers immediately. Come out, and there is more production that YanXII is gonna lose. I mean, it's not like he could, afford it, but but that's still production loss. The whole army of YanXII returns to defend.
It's all coming back home to defend, but it may just not be enough. The Thor's having a hard time. GG gets called, and Cham will take game number 2. GG. Well played there by Cham. Of course, he was the favorite, but a massive shout out to YanXII, because you know what? He made Cham work for it.
Yeah, it was not an easy walk on the path. Cham definitely had to put his share of work to beat YanXII, but at the end of the day, he did, and he is our first finalist for the day.
He is our first finalist. Congratulations to Cham. Oh, again, well worth it and well won. It was really cool to see him transition the way he did and use, I guess, build his army the way that he did, going from roaches into lurkers, into broodlords, back into lurkers as well. Yeah, that's going to serve him well in the finals, but who's he going to face in the finals? Because we have another ZvT waiting for us.